Now, a few years ago, a dear friend of mine dropped into the studio with this little amplifier to help me on my journey back to playing and recording guitar. Now, in the early 1970s, this was a brand I was very familiar with, but I was puzzled by the size of it. Hello viewer, my name's Stu. Do check out the rest of my channels. It covers my return back to playing and recording guitar after a 40-year break, and lots of unboxing reviews done as I search for gear that I am going to be using in my recording projects. Now, in the previous video I looked into Fender's latest entry-level Chinese manufactured Squire debut guitar series, specifically a Telecaster in Dakota Satin Red. And incidentally, I understand as of this time it's not actually available in the USA. So sorry for that, guys. I don't know what's going on there. So as to continue the theme of budget gear, I thought we could take a look at an entry-level amplifier that I have here with me now in the studio, made by another brand name giant, and that of course being Vox Amplification. Now, Vox was founded in 1957 in Kent in England, but since 1992 it's now owned by a Japanese company, so no manufacturing in the UK any longer. So coming up, number 1, the amplifier and a quick overview. Number 2, some quick tone tests given the wide range of effects you get from this little box. And number 3, my personal thoughts. Number 4, conclusion, final remarks. So number 1. This Vox DA5 classic digital amp with effects is a 5-watt amplifier, and in this case a very bright texture red vinyl covers it. This particular product is now discontinued, but they are available on the used market. In fact, there's quite a few, and you also get them in black. Now, looking at the front, you have a chunky metal diamond grille with a classic Vox badge. Behind the grille is a 6.5-inch speaker rated at 10 watts 8 ohms. Now, 6 of the corners have black plastic corner protectors, and at the base you've got 4 rubber feet and a carry strap handle. Now, at the rear, on removing the back cover plate, you see there is the ability to run this amplifier either from 6 C-type batteries or using the DC 12-volt mains adapter. Now, on the rear panel there is a power selector to enable the choice of output from a full 5 watts down to 1.5 watts and down to 0.5 watts. There is a line jack socket, auxiliary in socket, and mic input and volume control. All this allows you to plug a CD or MP3 line level signal into the auxiliary in, a dynamic mic into the mic in, and off you go and rehearse. All the DA5 inputs can be used simultaneously. The headphone line output mutes the speaker for headphone practicing or just direct connection into a mixer or a recorder, so very handy. Looking at the top control layout, there is 1 input jack socket, a standby on-off switch. Under Style, you have 11 amplifier effects settings, which can be further modelled with the gain, tone and master volume knobs. To add to your effects choices, there are 11 special effects from auto wah right through to reverb. Now, I'm going to do a very quick demonstration regarding all these choices in a moment. The tap button is there to set the delay time or modulation speed. The parameters of every effect can be adjusted. Now, in a word, this little box of tricks will have you fiddling for hours on end. So number 2, how does it sound? Well, I'm going to be using the Fender Squire debut Telecaster I reviewed in the previous video, because amplifier collectors aside, this little box of tricks I would say was geared more towards those probably starting out. However, I'll also give my thoughts when using a more expensive instrument in the test, and that being a Fender Custom Shop Telecaster. So we'll see the difference if there is any. So with the speaker mic'd up with a Sennheiser MD421 and with the effects knobs set to clean reverb, we start with the style amplifier effect settings, clean 1. Clean 2. Blues 1. Blues 2. Blues 3. Crunch 1. Crunch 2. High gain 1. High gain 2. High gain 3. And drive. Now with the style knob set to clean 1, we start with the effects with Auto Wah. Compression. Compression phaser. Compression chorus. Chorus delay. Chorus reverb. Flanger reverb. Tremolo reverb. Rotary reverb. Delay. Reverb. Now, as mentioned, you can dial in various tones, delays and modulation throughout all these choices. So number 3, my personal thoughts. Well, as I came back to playing guitar, I was already focused on searching out familiar gear from my gigging days, so I didn't pay too much attention to this little box of tricks when it was dropped in, although I was very grateful for that. Sitting down with the amplifier now, it's been very interesting. I'm not a fan of really small speaker enclosures because the tones often sound like you're in a toilet. However, it's not trying to be a Vox AC30 or a Marshall stack, or indeed my amplifier choice these days, the Bad Cat Black Cat. So As a practice amplifier product, it comes with a lot of tonal choices and the ability to power this little unit with either battery or mains electric power. Although I'm not sure how long the batteries would actually last if you were a keen player. So the mains adapter would definitely be worth having if you were going to pick one of these up. Having said that, in an upcoming video, I will be looking at another amplifier choice that brings portability that can actually sit in your top pocket. So as mentioned, I had a play around on a Fender Custom Shop Telecaster, which of course has superior tonal qualities to the debut model, and for what it is, this little Vox amp is certainly very usable. Number 4, conclusion, final thoughts. As always, no one paid me to mention any of the products shown. These are just my opinions. Now, the first amplifier I ever played through in the early 1970s was the iconic Vox AC30, which was on loan to me for a short while, and I loved the tones of that Vox amplifier. But I do remember as a youngster it weighed a ton and made lots of scary crackling noises when heating up. Now, with all the modelling units, amplifiers and software available today, the choices are so vast that unless you could pick one of these up for not much outlay, in actual fact, this one was headed for the rubbish tip. All it had was a loose wire in it, and it was recovered from the tip, and the wire was resoldered, and it's playing great. I'm not sure why anyone would want to actually buy one of these, apart from perhaps an amplifier collector perspective. It does have a certain quirky appeal. As I say, unless you picked one up cheap enough, there's an awful lot of really good little amplifiers on the market these days. Perhaps you have a different take on this, or maybe you own one and It would be good to hear your comments. As mentioned, I'll be looking at another portable amplifier which I found much more usable. But the question still arises, does it really get used? Do think about subscribing, hit the bell to get notifications, like and share. As always, it really does help the channel. Do check out my channel playlists, which cover my journey back to playing and recording guitar after a 40-year break. So whether you're a newcomer, an ongoing player, or like me, an old hand returning to guitar playing, I always take time to engage with folks who take time to comment. Always nice to hear from people. So until next time, the journey continues. Do take care.